Welcome to Suffolk Matters, where all of Suffolk County meets the men and women of Suffolk AME. News, opinions, and insights you won't hear anywhere else. Here's your host, the president of New York's largest independent union, Suffolk AME's Dan Levler.
Welcome to another edition of Suffolk Matters on Walk 97.5 and 94.3 The Shark, where Suffolk County meets the men and women of Suffolk AME. News and views you can't hear anywhere else. So my guest this morning is Beverly Avgeros and additionally Donna Mollica, both Suffolk County crossing guards. And I want to thank you for joining us. I can't wait to actually get into some of what it is you guys do over and above what people think you do. But good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning. Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
So I want to start with each of you, and I guess Beverly first. What precinct do you come out of, and where do you work?
I come out of the 4th precinct, and I have Hoppark High School and middle school. Nice.
And Donna, yourself?
I worked at Lindenhurst Middle School.
Nice. Very good. So, what drew you to the crossing guard work in the first place? What made you realize that this is something you wanted to be involved in and help your community with?
I always admired my crossing guard when I used to bring my children to elementary school. And then as I got older and a daughter that went into the military, this was perfect with the flexible hours. But then when I found out the kind of benefits that I got, I was like, this is for me, especially now that I'm a little bit older. This is perfect for me and my husband. And the flexible time, I get to travel with my daughter wherever she is and see my granddaughters at the same time.
That's great. Yeah. Donna?
And the same with me. I used to walk the kids to school and became really good friends with the grammar school crossing guard. And she's like, you really should be doing this. I said, well, it's hard with the kids. They're small and be involved in all their sports and trying to do things in between for the PTA and everything. I said, But definitely when they get older, this is something I want to do. Now that the kids are older, and I definitely said, this is what I want to do.
That's great. I can remember as a kid growing up, I walked to school from elementary school through high school. I was constantly dealing with crossing guards. And there was a level of trust that you have as a kid with a crossing guard that you just don't get in other positions in the world. It's just something, I knew I was going to school. I was going to see teachers. I was going to see, my friends in class. There was going to be administrators, whatever else. But there was always that connection with the crossing guards. It was a unique relationship. And I think people know that. They know that their kids have a connection with their crossing guards. And, I just think it's a great line of work, generally speaking. You really do a lot for people.
Well, we're there every day.
Yeah.
You're talking every day. School is in session. We are there. We're standing there. We're like a pillar of the community. So, of course, we build a little relationship with our children. And me, I look at them as my grandchildren because it's middle school and high school. But it's just that you're there every day. And yes, you talk to them, good morning, how are you? How was your day? Listen, have a good night, have a great afternoon. Oh, you got your game today. Hey, good luck, and just think I'm rooting for you too. And then on the weekend, you wish them a good weekend. Have a great 3-day weekend, have whatever. Enjoy your summer. See you in September.
You're really developing relationships with all of these kids as they're coming through and dealing with, going to school and all the extra stuff that they're doing. They know there's going to be that touch every single day where they're going to see their crossing guard. They're going to have somebody in their corner, not just making sure they're safe, but checking in on them.
But we're outside people, too. It's not mom and dad. It's not siblings.
Right.
It's not aunt, uncle, or grandma, grandpa. And because they do know that we're affiliated with the police department, there's a type of security.
Sure. Yeah.
So they know that we're there for them. And we have been there in the past.
Yeah, and there's a bunch
day.
to talk about there. I know of a few instances, and as we continue on this conversation, I definitely want to get there because there's some amazing things that happen.
Yes.
But before we get into like the specific amazing things, what are typical responsibilities, Donna, on a day-to-day basis?
Well, first and foremost, to get the children to school safely and home safely. And and just be there for them. We're part of the community. I want these kids to get home safe and get to school safe.
Yeah, no, that's, a very basic telling of it, right? That's what people see. The parents who interact with you guys, I think they know it's much more than that, right? And we've talked a little bit about that this morning.
Yes.
But the basic, if someone were coming in to do a job like this, they would understand, listen, you got to be at your post. Mm-hmm. You've got to ensure that people cross safely and the traffic follows the traffic rules.
And it involves so much more than just crossing the children.
It
Yes,
really
it is.
does.
Yes,
really
it does. Yeah. And petting the dogs that come by because they look forward to seeing you on the
Yes.
corner.
And those milk bone cookies.
Yes, that helps too.
So give me some examples of how you guys have gone above and beyond, crossing guards in general in Suffolk County.
Being where we're supposed to be, when we're supposed to be, being available for the community. Example, I can't tell you how many times I have been asked, where can I find this? Where do I go? I'm lost. I got to get over to this place, and there's a detour up here. How do I get there? We know our area. We know our communities. So we're able to direct them with landmarks. Well, that's how I drive.
Right.
So we're able to be there. What other things we do is above and beyond as far as Donna could tell you a story. I could tell you stories that I've done helping a student who was being stalked by another student. They were a couple and they broke up.
Oh, yeah.
So there was a little animosities going back and forth. How many times did I have to keep one to the side for a few extra minutes to let the other one go and then hold on to the other one so that the other one goes? That's
Right.
just one little silly thing. We've had it where I used to work near a railroad station, and one of our commuters collapsed on the ground.
Ooh.
And turned out he had an epileptic seizure. So I was with a partner. She ran down. I'm on the phone calling 911, making sure that his head is lifted and that he's doing fine. But this is just some things that were there.
Right.
Along with the geeses and the gooses that land in the middle of the street, and we
Right.
have to get out of the way so the people don't hit them with the
Right.
cars
Right.
to make something nice. But we're there.
Yeah.
We are there. Whatever it may be. Even the parents appreciate us being there, directing traffic,
Yeah.
helping the students get in the school, out of the school. My senior drivers really don't leave my school unless I wave them out, because that's the confidence that they have in me.
There's that position of trust again, right? And
Yes.
even just talking about directions. Someone saying, I don't know where I'm going. I don't know where I'm going. And I'm not going to just ask anybody, but here's someone I definitely can ask. They see the uniform. There's trust built into it. That's
Yes, there
important.
is.
That's very valuable to the community.
And I'm standing on the corner. Yes, and I wave and smile. All right, with the masks, it's hard because of the pandemic. We wear masks. But yes, I'm always waving. I'm always smiling because I want everyone to know that I'm there for them too.
And 400 plus guards out all across Suffolk County doing this every day.
Yes.
So, and Donna, is there anything you would add to that?
I just treat these children the way I treat my children. I say good morning to them. Have a great day. The same as Beverly. You have a game this week. The boys are always talking to me about their basketball, which I love.
Right.
If I'm busy, which I love, if I'm busy crossing the kids and I don't get to say good morning or have a great day, they're like, good morning, Donna. Have a great day. We have a game this weekend. Wish us luck. I'll take the whistle out of my mouth and go, good luck. I just treat these kids like my own.
Let's talk about some of the things that happen with this job. Like, I think you guys are fairly well versed, and I know we've had a lot of conversations about what a typical day is like for you guys. But what is something you wish the public knew that they probably don't about your job, what it is you do, and you wish they had a greater understanding of?
That it's dangerous going through red lights. It's dangerous making U-turns in the crosswalk when the crosswalk is on. When the sign says no turn on red, 7 a.m. to 4 a.m., I mean it.
Right.
I know everyone's in a hurry. We're always in a hurry, but you know what? Your kid is safely in that car. I'm trying to get someone else's child across that street safely. So, and I tell them every morning, this. I'm out there with the whistle. I'm actually a human shield. We all are. All the guards are human shields to these children, because even if it's not a parent, it's a truck driver making a delivery. We have 2 constructions going on by me, and there's traffic left and right there, and you just want these children safe.
You're literally putting your life on the line to protect these children.
Absolutely, and I could get into what many, many guards have entailed, had done to them just doing this, inching up on you in the crosswalk.
Sure.
Getting ready to make that right-hand turn when the crosswalk is on. And you need to stand ground and say, no, you're going to stay there. These children need to cross. They have the right of way. And some just are in a hurry.
I think that's very important for people to understand. There are human beings protecting other human beings, putting themselves in harm's way. And if you're going to be 30 seconds late to work, you're going to be 30 seconds late to work. Or wherever it is you might be going, don't risk the life of the people that put themselves out in these types of dangerous situations in protecting others. Don't risk their lives because you feel rushed to get somewhere. Sometimes traffic goes a little slow, and that's life. We gotta deal with it.
Yeah, but they don't understand either that we're there for them.
Right?
Not just our children. We're there for them. Example, the other day, one of my lights wasn't working right. And I'm like, this isn't right. Traffic is backing up. What do? I throw my stop sign down on the ground. I go out in the middle of the street, put the whistle in my mouth. I'm directing traffic because I want to keep the flow going, because I don't want anybody to do anything silly, because on that day it was raining and we were expecting snow at that time. But, it's we're there for them just as much as we're there for the children, for the schools, for the teachers, the parents. We're there for everything and everybody.
Yeah.
It's the non-parents that are really, that don't care. I got to go. I got to get to work. Here comes the train. Let's go around this bus, which you see all the time.
So, Beverly, I want to talk to you a little bit more about a role that you have in addition to being a crossing guard, which is also the unit president of the crossing guards unit. So you're a conduit to all of the crossing guards on any issues that are going on. And I know you've certainly been busy recently. But what does the role entail for you?
The role entails basically to be a good listener, because I get guards calling me and they are venting. They are very upset. Something happened on their post. Something happened with them personally. Something can happen with their supervisor. Or why is this like this and not like that? How come I can't call quartermaster because I need a uniform piece and I can't get it? So I have to be a good listener, and I have to be able to diffuse a lot of situations. And unfortunately, my biggest problem is I take everything personally because I want to make everybody better. I'm a people person.
Sure.
I always have been. I started out as a shop steward only to be there to help the other guards in my precinct at the time. And I love what I do. I do what I love. That is my quote unquote for this job, is being a school crossing guard. And I want to be there. I try to assist everybody the best I can. I go to as many meetings as I possibly can and try and get the word out of what can be said and be brought back to my membership, because I have a huge membership.
Sure.
And it's getting back to my board members, my shop stewards, and trying to make the best of everything. And it's difficult at times, but I like to think that I am doing a good job.
And you are.
I got to say,
You are.
I know for a fact you are. And I also know that sometimes people don't necessarily see it that way. They're upset about something. They want to get that emotion out. They want to communicate that over. And they have a particular result that they want. You're able to solve their problem, but maybe not the way they wanted it solved, because things are much more complex than, maybe it seems on the surface. But I know that you give. I know that you are constantly working, and every time we're in communication, I know you're up to speed on everything that you need to know about going on with that crossing guard unit. And it's very helpful for me to be able to know that I can make one phone call and get up to speed on everything.
But it's very helpful to me also knowing that I can have a one-on-one whenever I need it, whether It's calling the union hall and having all your staff at the union hall they are beyond. Every single one of them are the sweetest, kindest.
We are very fortunate.
The staff that's at that union hall is amazing. And I'm very fortunate that when I do call and they hear it in my voice,
Right.
they know to push it through
Right.
because I need to talk to my liaison. I need to talk to a vice president.
Right.
If not, I want to speak to Dan Levler.
That's it.
And I've been put through to Dan Levler.
Yes.
And that's the way it is. And thank goodness, because otherwise I think I would give up doing what I'm doing if I didn't have that relationship.
Sure. And that's one of the things, it's a voluntary position. You are agreeing to step out and help all of your coworkers, the rest of the crossing guards, voluntarily. All of the problems that you have to solve, all the conversations you have to have. And I can tell you, I know there are points in time, 10 o'clock at night, you're still taking phone calls. That's what this job is.
Yes.
And you do that because from my perspective, you think it's the right thing to do.
Yes.
I know when I got involved because I said, here's how I think people should be doing this job. And if I'm gonna do this job, I'm gonna do what, as a member, I thought my representative was supposed to do. And that makes my job a little easier. It's easy to make decisions and you say, no, this is a problem and it needs to be solved. And I don't care how difficult it is. This is what the union needs to do. And that's how we do it.
Most effectively is being able to speak to a representative of our union any time of the day or night, weekends, holidays, because I've done it.
Yep.
Especially these past few weeks.
Absolutely, 100%. What needs to be done and what happens. And from your perspective, I know I have my opinion, but from your perspective and in your role, why is it important for crossing guards to have union representation in the first place?
We are part-time workers with full-time benefits. And we need to know that we are accepting, that we are worth doing what we are doing. And it is. And my guards right now are in a very frustrating time, which we are working on. And I know my union is behind me 1,000%, that we will rectify the situation. But I do know that they want to fight for whatever we have to do to keep the benefits that we have, because these benefits are absolutely amazing.
They really are, and they are important to have, and they are what I believe is one of the primary attractors. Once you get past the fact that you want to do this job and you want to help your community in this way, and you see what level of trust you get in, from the community, there's all that unwritten value in it. But the very next thing is understanding what health benefits you have, what job protections you have, that really make this job valuable. This is not a job where people attempt to get rich. This is a job where people try to get by. But they try and get by on behalf of the community, but also on a personal level. They like to know that they have these job protections, that they have these benefits. The full-time benefits on a part-time job is what really makes the crossing guard job viable in Suffolk County.
Yes, and I would never want to lose any of the benefits that we have. And since you've been president, we've only enhanced our benefits.
It's my job.
Thousandfold, thousands and thousands fold. I can't even come up with the word because you have done so much for us.
Again, I keep it easy for myself. That's what I am supposed to do. No matter how difficult it might be, that's what I'm supposed to do, and so I go out and I do it. Donna, I just want to ask you, as a union member, is there any point of pride for you, just knowing that you are an AME member and that you have all of what comes with not just your job, but what it means to be a union member?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I take pride in what I do. I mean, I waited to do this for so long. You're a perm way back in 2013. It took long for me to become a perm. I had to wait almost 4.5 years. And then when you become a perm, you know about all the benefits and things that come along with it, and you are just eager and ready to work. Having your own post and
making it your own.
And making it your own, yes. Becoming part of the neighborhood.
That's very important, a part of this job, So when you say perm, you mean permanent.
Yes.
And then there are substitutes, and substitutes
Yes.
work as needed,
Yes.
where they're needed.
Right.
A permanent has a defined shift, and they know the
Yes.
location they're working, which means that they know that community. They have a great understanding. So it's very different to be a substitute crossing guard
But
than it is
even
to
if
be a
you're a
permanent.
sub, even if you start out as a sub, you treat wherever you go as part of your
course.
community.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're there. You're there for a reason. You'll go. You'll get that call. You'll go to the next post the next day, but you treat it like it's your own. It's not just a job. You're part of the community, and you're there to take care of those children.
And listen, I know we kind of touched on earlier in the show going above and beyond. And let's talk about what it means to be part of this community. Donna, you recently were involved in foiling a kidnapping attempt. Can you
Yes.
tell us a little bit about that?
I felt like I was in a movie, that this couldn't be happening on my post, that my partner and I take care of so well. 2 little girls that I crossed all the time went over to the library, told them have a good day, stay there, wait for mom to pick you up, the usual. Crossing all the kids, you can't keep looking over to the library with the kids crossing behind
Sure.
you. I saw the big sister walking and pacing the sidewalk. And I thought she was coming to me, so I backed off. She backed off. She walked back into the library, and I told my partner at the time, I said, there's something wrong. Why is she pacing back and forth and her sister's not with her? Is she waiting for someone? She doesn't have her backpack or anything. So finally she walked towards me, and I could see the fear in her eyes.
Yeah.
And she went to walk past me, and I go, wait, where's your sister? She goes, can you tell me when the police officer is going to bring back my sister? At that time,
Wow.
she started walking. I grabbed her arm. I said, stay here. Now tell me what's happening. She started telling me the story. I said, you're going to stay here and we're going to get help. You can't go walking away. So I was holding her and she was trying to get away. I called 911. I told them that was what was happening.
Sure.
I put her on the phone to give her name and what was happening. And, soon, her sister, making a long story short, detectives came, the police came, everybody was out in full force.
Sure.
Her sister was found. She escaped, ran to a neighbor's house. She told the neighbor she wanted to go back to the library. And as she was going past, the neighbor yells out, I have her sister. I told her to stay with the police officer. I go over to her sister. And, it's still hard for me this day to see her sitting in that front seat the way she was. But she was safe. Nothing had happened to her. We gave our reports to the police officers. We went and we looked at surveillance cameras in the buildings. And we did spot her getting into a police car. Make a long story short, what had happened, let me get back to the beginning. The guy pulled up and told the girls, were you with the 4 boys that just walked by? And the girls said no. And they go, don't lie, you were with those 4 boys that just walked by. You were part of a gang. So he goes, I want to talk to you, the little one first.
Sure.
Put her into the car and told his sister to go into the library. He took off with the sister and told her, don't come out for 15 minutes. And then
This is obviously not a real police officer.
No, he was found, and he is in jail.
One, a heartbreaking story, but also a testament to what it means to be a crossing guard.
Yes.
Above and beyond what you were supposed to do, you picked up on a situation, you interjected yourself into the situation, and you made sure that you had the backup necessary come out and figure out what was going on and how to foil this. This is a big deal, and I got to say, Beverly, I'm sure this is not the only story that could be told.
No. We have a story that's in Patchogue. Little boy woke up one morning and found his mother laying on the ground. And he ran straight out the door. He didn't go to the neighbors. He didn't go anywhere. He went straight up to his crossing guard. Something's wrong with my mommy. She left her post. She followed him in, found out the mom had passed on the floor. So she immediately called 911. She has stayed with the child. Thank goodness there was a partner there that helped her do her post, so everything was fine. But once 911 came, they were able to release her so she could go back to her post. But she was there for that little boy. And right now, still to this day, they are like aunt and nephew.
Right.
They are just two peas in a pod. They're always together on the corner. And it's just another way that we're there. I have another crossing guard that I found out a story about. The little boy started running across the street as she was crossing him from the school to his mom, which was right behind her. And he fell and split his head open.
Ooh.
So she had to get to him.
Mm-hmm.
They called the ambulance. The mom came. She stayed with the little boy past her time. She could have gone home and just said, okay, the ambulance is here.
Right.
I'll leave. But she stayed there
not
with
that
him and
kind
to
of
make
job.
sure that he got the proper care.
And that's the kind of people that take these crossing jobs. And that's why built into this job is that trust. The community, I mean, you're talking kids. They instinctively know, go to your crossing guard. They can help.
All crossing guards are like stay later than what they should because of certain incidents that happen, like late children being picked up, parents forgetting to pick up, thinking someone else is going to pick up.
Right.
I've called my boss numerous times and said, it's 5:30, I'm still here, but I'm not going to leave him because he knows his mom's going to pick him up in this spot.
Right.
And we sit against a building, we talk, and,
Wait for his mom.
we wait for his mom. It happens all the time to every crossing guard. Every crossing guard it happens to. But we're there.
Yeah.
That's our responsibility. And you know what? There's no complaining. This child needs you, and you're here.
Yeah.
Your family's home safe in their house. He's not.
That's what it is to be a crossing guard, right? And so we talk about the crossing guard position generally, and so many times today we talked about that position of trust that's in the community, that people have this understanding that the crossing guard is there for them, and there for them over and above what it is a crossing guard is supposed to do. Early in the show, we talked about what does a crossing guard basically do. Well, then we spent the rest of the show talking about all the extra things you do that we understand the community, one, trusts you, and two, looks to crossing guards very specifically to solve these types of problems. Major issues like attempted kidnappings.
Your heart needs to be in it. It's
Right.
not the money. It's your heart.
Yeah, but we do have to talk about the money a little bit, don't we?
Yes, we do.
there is a difficulty, generally speaking, and I'm just going to speak generally about this. So civil service titles for everyone listening and helping them understand. There's a test that gets taken to show that you're qualified. They don't care about your age, your race, gender, ethnicity, whatever. None of that matters. It's how you did on the test. And people will spend money and time to take this test, to prepare for the test, to pay for the actual application for the test, come in, take the test, pass the test, and end up on a list available to be called in. I'm aware of two lists recently, one with 300 plus people and another one with nearly 1,300 people, where every single person on those lists were called and asked to come in for an interview, and only one person showed up. Well, actually, only one person responded, and when they were called in to actually be hired and do the work, they didn't show. Generally speaking, there is a problem to get people to work, and that identifies that there's a problem with the job market, right? I'm not buying the myth that's out there about, people don't want to work anymore. They just want free money. They want this, they want that. You offer somebody $100,000 a year to make hamburgers, they're going to show up to that job, right? So it isn't that nobody wants to work. It isn't that nobody wants to work. It really is, there is a pay issue there, right? And so Suffolk County has an issue, just like everyone else does, with recruiting talent and retaining talent. And you got to remember both of those things, right? You can get somebody in the door maybe, but you've got to keep them, and you want to keep them for as long as possible, as long as viable, because of all those things that we talked about during the show. The fact that they know their area, they know their post, they know what to do, when to do it. They have the ability to communicate with other areas inside the county and get things done. Government efficiency in a way. I know some folks will call that an oxymoron, but we've discussed how that actually works. And the fact of the matter is, right now, it's as if the county is trying to solve the recruitment issue, but we have to address the retention issue also. So there's a pay disparity when someone comes in to take this job where, in order to get people in the door, they're making more money than people that have been on the job since
20, 30, 45 years to 48 years. I know there's guards that are on the job.
Yeah.
That's a big deal. And in order for all of this to work right, it's my job to sit down with the county, which I have been doing, and address this issue and say, listen, you're creating a situation where you're trying to solve your recruitment problem, and you are destroying the retention problem you already had.
Absolutely.
You're
Yes,
making
you
it
are.
even worse.
Yep.
People need to know that they're valued. And one of the attractors, like I said, on the personal side, you want to give to your community, you want to be there, but on the personal side, when you make this decision, it's that package that you get. You know, okay, this is my pay, this is when I'm expected to work, these are the benefits that I get, and it communicates value. It means that management understands that you are going to attempt to foil a kidnapping plot if you are presented with that. You are going to go out and stay with the child that got injured in the road after your shift because it's the right thing to do. You're going to give someone directions to the place that they're trying to go. It's not your job. You do it anyway because you know they trust you and you can help. And so for me, there really needs to be more of a conversation and a resolution to the conversation that addresses not just the recruitment issue, but also the retention issue. And I want to make the commitment to you and all of the guards, and I want the people in Suffolk County to understand this is a problem. This is a problem,
Big
and I'm working it, and I'm on it. So I guess to that end, though, I mean, can you just tell us a little bit of feedback on how you feel guards that have been doing this job for all these years feel about the idea of hiring new outside people for more than what folks who've been doing this job all along are getting?
They're very frustrated. They're angry, very angry.
Mm-hmm.
We're at the top of our grade. We're at the lowest grade that there is, which is a grade 6, and we're at the top of our grade. And we make $22.45 for being on the job, anywhere from 15 years to the person that's been on the job 48 years.
And what about the little people who have been standing out there? They're not even making close to that.
Of course.
And they've been on the job for 8 years. And you have someone coming in and expecting $20. That's a slap in the face. And these people have been behind your back, showing up every day, snow, rain, everything.
Because we don't have coverage. We can't take personal time either because we don't have coverage. We're denied. So we go to work sick because we know there's not a substitute. Because when we can't work and there's no substitutes, they have to put a police officer on our post. And that's taking him away from his responsibilities and his duties.
Yep.
And that's an unfair burden to the taxpayers.
Well, it's certainly not efficient.
Absolutely not.
And if the claim is being made that we can't afford to properly compensate crossing guards, then how can we afford to take public safety officer off the road, pay them what they're paid to do your job? It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't add up.
No, it doesn't. It's like cheap labor. I'm sorry. I have to say that it's cheap labor. And that's why we're out there.
And then you don't feel valued. And if you
Oh,
don't
absolutely
feel
not.
valued, will you continue to do all of those extra things we talked about in this show? And I know you guys will. I know the crossing guards will. This has to be fixed, though, and it is my job to fix it. And I wanted to thank you guys for coming in to talk all about what the crossing guard title is about, what it is you do over and above, and reiterate my commitment to you guys. I see the problem. I know the problem is there, and I will fix it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dan, for even having us here today, listening to our woes, and you knowing all our woes and all our troubles that we're going through. And thank you for being our president.
Thank you very much.
Yes. Donna, Beverly, thank you for joining us today. And to our listeners, we'll speak to you next week.